You're about to listen to a brand new episode of the Foreign Lady podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Now, let's get to the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Foreign Lady podcast. I'm your host, Liz.
And the bottom line.
And we are back. It has been a while. We have missed all of you, but we've had things to do. Mostly me. It's totally my fault. So I
As per
I can
usual.
take I can take responsibility for that. That was totally my fault. I had a lot going on at the latter half of 2025, and it just got really
Hot girl
busy. And
summer, that's what it was.
it was winter, okay? It was winter. Thank you. But I'm planning on having a nice summer this year. Last year
Good
was
for
kind
you.
of, yes. So I have a couple things planned this summer that I'm really excited about. We'll see. But how are you? How is your holidays and everything? How are things going?
Everything's going well, I told you, bought a new car, New Year's was good. So I can't complain. Everything's really comfortable right now. And with the winter
That's
weather,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. When we are recording this, it's probably gonna have happened already, but there's supposed to be like a big storm that's supposed to be coming in like a bunch of states are supposed to. I think it's from like far south as Texas all the way up to like Vermont, and it's supposed to hit like 30 states. And we're like hunkered down now, and I'm in my apartment. Like I'm one of those, okay, let's talk about this, right? I'm one of those people that I'm like, when the pandemic first happened, right? I'm like, oh, it'll probably be like, a week or two, whatever, right? And it'll be fine, right? And I'm
Yeah.
just one of those people that's like, oh, it's like a weekend storm. Like, I don't need to, pack my house with like life, like zombie apocalypse, like type of like, perishable foods and like flashlight. And like, I'm just not that person. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. I've never been like that, like survivalist type person. And I've always said, like, if a zombie apocalypse happened, I'm probably the first one that's going to get eaten for sure.
Right.
But like you go to the supermarket and literally like everything has been like bought up.
Yeah.
It literally felt like the pandemic all over again, where it's like we were out of like toilet paper and there's no like bread left and all the canned goods are gone. And I'm like, people, it's only a weekend. Like it's not
Yeah.
like we're not gonna be here for a zombie apocalypse. But I don't know. Maybe it's like the survivor instincts, and people are like, "Well, I'm gonna be at my house for the weekend. I'm gonna have to eat," and I'm like, "You don't need that much food to eat. Like, it's gonna be okay. You can go out on Tuesday at the latest or Wednesday and be fine." But anyway, that's
Yeah.
just my little like rant about it. Are you planning on like? Are you? I think it's supposed to be as far as where you live, right? As well.
Yeah. So my job is like sponsoring people for a hotel because we can't really like take out. We can take off.
Uh,
So a bunch of people were like, well, they not missing that opportunity.
hey,
Free night
free
hotel,
hotel
yeah,
stay.
they took it. They jumped
I'll
on it.
take it. I will take it. Free hotel stay. All right. Well, I hope everyone's safe out there. Like I said, by the time we drop this episode, the storm will probably be past, but hopefully there's no like residual thing that happens and everyone's safe and all that. All right. So on this week's episode, we are just going to wing it. Honestly, like we have a couple things that we want to talk about, but then other than that, it's just going to be just topics that are, that have been sort of lingering that I feel like we need to like catch up on. So if we'll talk about those and, give our audience maybe our opinions of like maybe events that have happened that we didn't have a chance to catch up on yet. Sounds good?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. We are trying to build our YouTube channel, so make sure you definitely subscribe and leave us a good review. And I see some of your comments on TikTok. Y'all are shady. Okay, y'all are some shady people.
What did
Like
they say
this
about
is
you?
why. I mean, some people are like, why she say that, or like what that's that, it's more tribalism, the tribal, like, oh, that's that liberal girl talking and I'm like, I don't care. Like I really, like, I'm not one of those people that you'll hurt my feelings because of something a stranger says on TikTok, but it's fun to read, and I feel like some people agree with you on some of our topics and they think, oh, like
Naturally.
there was this one, I can't remember what the topic was, but I think we were talking about like maybe something like dating or whatever. I don't know, something like that. and they were like, "Oh, the money where you were like, the woman should treat the man." Do you remember that
Oh yeah,
topic we talked about?
was it
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one day in October?
yeah, yeah.
Minimum
And
eight
I was
hundred
like,
dollars. Yeah,
yeah, and I was like, heck no. Oh my god, you should have seen the comments. People were like, a typical woman and that, and I'm like, and it's mostly men too. I'm like, this is what is wrong with men today. Like
of course, there's something wrong with us.
y'all are still on
How,
some other shit. But
how dare
anyway,
we want to be appreciated on our terms?
like it's okay. It's okay. Y'all don't need to be like that. And
You know, they
yes,
did a
how dare
study.
y'all need to be y'all need to understand that we will do something for you if you do something for us. It's a give and take. It's a give and take.
Hmm.
Yes. But I thought that was really interesting. That was like one of the topics that we got like a really big response on. And so yeah, I love all of the comments. So keep it coming. It's fun. It's fun.
Interestingly enough, they did a study,
About
and well, the way they said it was that on an annual basis,
mhm.
men spend about $8,000 a year on dating. And
Damn.
they said women is about $1,300. And then
Look,
here were the
look,
comments. Men were saying they can't believe it's that much for women.
wow.
They said that's a little
Look,
high.
I'm not saying women can't pay for dates. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying at least for the first date, like if you're gonna take me out, like it's expected that you would at least pay for the first date. That's all I'm saying. But I think y'all men right now, y'all over here, you're acting like a bunch of females. I'm like, what? Like, what is happening? Like, there's gone are like the days of like court. Y'all don't even court anymore. You
Now
know,
notice what you said.
men don't chase anymore. Like everything is just expected to be like, I don't want to say like, I just feel like the roles have been reversed in a way. Like men want to be chased in this relationship, and it's like y'all
Now
not built for
notice
that.
what you said. You
What did I
said now
say?
there's something wrong with men. They're acting like women. Now notice what you said right there. Now
Yeah,
when there's
oh,
something wrong with men, they're acting like women. That's what you just said. I just wanna
we are still the prize. Okay, all of these men on the internet talking about they are the prizes. We are the
I'm just
this.
saying.
We're the that. Look,
When y'all say we're acting like women, you guys have a problem with it. You see the problem as well. That's all I'm just pointing out.
all I'm saying is men need to go back to their male energy. You want to be chased. You want your dates to be paid for. You want to act like you're the prize. You want us to. I'm like, what is happening?
This one guy on YouTube, he had this video, and he would say things like how women basically they live life on easy mode when it comes to dating, and then so when the shoes on the other foot, they're frustrated.
Look, it is frustrated because we're not built to be chasers, right? Women aren't built to be the one courting men. That's just not how we're built. And so, but that's what men expect these days. You know, like if you meet a guy at a party or wherever at a bar, like he expects you to come up. Like there are different hints that women throw at men that will let you know, hey, we're interested, versus like, you know, wanting us to come up to you and chase you, ask for your number, which again, in certain circumstances, nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I think in today's society, men are, and this could be due to a vast majority of reasons, but I just feel like we've lost the art of like the good old fashioned traditional dating where it's like I meet a guy, he's interested, I've given him hints all night that I'm interested, and he still says and does nothing. And it's like,
What are your
what, like,
hints,
what
by
do
the
you,
way? What are your hints, by the way?
like a little flirtatious. I'm looking at you, giving you the eye at the bar or at the party or from across the room, or I'll walk past you a couple of times, or
What does that look like? What does that mean to men?
like, like, I think a man can know when a woman is interested. You can't tell when a woman is interested in you.
I could tell to when I'm having a good time.
What does that mean?
Like if I'm having a good time, I might ask anybody to dance or something like that. But that doesn't tell me like if they're interested or anything.
I guess that's different, right? Like if you're in an environment where you're just there to have fun, I guess that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're like in a restaurant or something and and then you see a guy, you might tell the waitress, "Hey, tell that guy I don't know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
or keep looking at him all
Exactly.
night. I don't know."
If you can't figure out
That's what I'm saying.
how to
We're not
land the
built for
man,
this.
if you can't figure it out, how he's supposed to know? right? If you can't get your signal straight, what's he supposed to do with that?
All I'm saying is there are different ways to get a guy's attention, and y'all need to be paying attention. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, like, just if you are a guy and you're interested, you're just gonna shoot your shot. You
Exactly.
know
Shoot your shot. The worst
that
that
all
she
it
can
is.
say is no.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, I just feel like things are just they're just so complicated nowadays, and they don't
Are they
have to be.
though? Are they that complicated? I mean, because I
They
could
are
have sworn there
complicated.
wasn't there like an elderly gentleman when he was out with your girl and he bought and paid for your meal? Wasn't this
Yeah.
like wasn't this elderly gentleman making his position clear? But y'all was too good for
No.
him, right?
No, that okay, okay, let me paint the picture. I think we talked about it, but I don't think the episode we released that episode. But so a friend of mine and I, we that sentence was so wrong. But me and a friend, we went out and we were having dinner or lunch, one of them. And when at the end of our meal, we were getting ready to pay, and the waitress said, "Oh, your bill has been taken care of." And we're looking like, by who? And she said, the gentleman outside. He took care of your bill for both of you. And we were very surprised because that doesn't happen anymore, and
Right,
not in this society. And
right.
so we went out, we thanked the waitress, we went outside and we found the guy, the man who paid for us, and we were so thankful. We said thank you so much, like we really appreciate it, and da 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 da, and this doesn't happen, and he's such a gentleman, and he was there with a lady and another gentleman friend, and we said thank you and we left. And came back and I told you the story, and you were like, "Oh, you didn't give like neither of you gave him your number." Like, and I'm like, "Why would we give him our like? Why would we do that?" And you proceeded to say, "What did you say?"
I can't remember. I just feel like everything you said after you thanked him was a lie. Just everything
How
you
is that
said
a
stuff.
lot?
Because I don't remember that being the part of the story. I remember y'all said thank you, bye. That's it. Called it a day.
No, we said thank you and we left.
Exactly. You didn't show any real gratitude. Like no real gratitude. I mean,
How is
you
thank you not a gratitude? What was I supposed to do?
you said thank you and then you guys left.
So, okay, what were we supposed to do in that situation?
I mean, like I said, all I asked was, did you guys exchange information, contacts,
Why
numbers?
would we do
Nothing of
that?
that. Exactly. So you looking for this kind of guy that's gonna be chivalrous, do the masculine thing that he's supposed to do. Here he is, drops out of the sky, out of nowhere. Not only treats
No,
you, but your girlfriend,
no.
and you just say thank you and walk away. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the meal, for paying for our meal. You were kind and gentleman for doing that, and we left. I don't
But
think that
as you
was a
guys said,
signal for us to give him our phone numbers.
but you guys even said yourself you weren't even interested, right?
No, we weren't interested in him.
Exactly. You weren't interested. If he was probably your type, you probably would have made more of an effort. You probably would have given him your number without asking. Exactly. But what I'm trying to make is like, of course, you don't have to like give every man your number that buys your meal or whatever the
So
case
are
may
you
be. But
saying that are you saying that okay, so are you saying that if a man pays for your meal, then I'm obligated to give him my number?
I never said that. I'm saying, but here was a man that met one of your criterias, and you didn't jump on it. That's what I meant. That's what I'm meaning to say.
But
You
how do
know,
you know that he was even interested in? He could just be nice, and that's what I said to you. I said he could just be a nice
sure,
man who just wanted to pay for our bill. He was feeling
sure.
generous that day, and he saw two beautiful women at the bar, and he was like, "Hey, let me do something kind for them today." That's a possibility.
I'm sure that is a possibility. I'm certain of it. Yeah, they got lots of things out there
You are
that are
so
possible,
cynical.
but they got
You
people out
are
there.
so cynical.
It's possible you could live to 110 years old. It has happened. However, is it likely? No.
All
Like
I'm
that
saying
man
is,
saw two gorgeous women, bought their meal, and he could be doing it just to be nice. That's fine. That's not a problem. But like I said, all I'm saying is here was your opportunity right there, and you missed it.
but I wasn't interested in him.
All right, then. So you can't complain about the men. That's all I'm saying. You had your
What do you mean, like
opportunity. You missed out. That's your fault.
that wasn't an opportunity? It was just a
What was
nice
wrong with
man.
him?
He was an older gentleman, like that. Like
Older in what sense? Like 10 years older, 20?
I don't know. I don't know. He was definitely older than the both of us,
You didn't
and
take the
nothing wrong
time to
with that.
find
I
out.
like older men. Yeah, because we said thank you and we left.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't think it's a big deal. Like I thought he was just a nice man that was being kind and that was it. I think if more people were like him, the world would be a better place because
Of
he
course it
put a
is.
smile on our faces.
Of course it is. It's better for you that you live in a world where you just walk out into the world and men are paying for your needs. Of course you like that.
What's wrong with
Of
that?
course you like that. I'm not saying it's wrong, but of course that it somehow works in your favor. Bills are paid. You ain't got to pay for the. Yeah, I know that works in your favor. I know you like that. But what I'm
You
saying
are
is that
so
we got to
cynical. I can't.
getting back to the heart of our conversation, where you are complaining about there not being real men out here. Here was a real man, and you missed out.
He could have been married. He could have had a girlfriend. I don't know.
You didn't take the time to find out.
True, but again, that wasn't the headspace that I was in. And I just thought, wow, what a nice guy, what a nice man to do something kind for us. More people need to be like that in the world. And I think the world would be a much better place. And that's all it was. But
Yeah,
you got to make it something
yeah, I'm
different.
sure. Like I said, I'm sure it would be a lot better if you could just go into a restaurant or a store and the bill was already paid. I'm sure you would love that. Who wouldn't?
My friend, my friend, my friend, you are something else. All right. So let's talk about Sinners.
Yeah,
So the nominees or the nominations, I should say, for the Oscars came out. Was it this week? Last
just
week?
about within the last week.
Just about. It came about a couple days ago. And Sinners broke a record by being the first movie ever to be nominated for 16 awards. So in every category that it could have been nominated for, it got nominated. We got Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress. We got Best Director for Ryan Coogler, Best Casting, which is I think it's a new category this year, Best Original Score. Whatever category that they could have been nominated for, they got it. And there's I guess a debate which you might be in a minority because a lot of people are very excited and very happy for Sinners and feel like it deserves all of the awards. And them getting nominated is a beautiful thing, but the conversation is now, will they win any of it?
Yeah.
You can get nominated, but will the Academy actually pull the trigger and actually give them something and not let them walk away empty handed? You thought that the movie didn't need to didn't wasn't in the caliber of being nominated for all of that. So tell us why. I
Well, I
mean,
thought the movie was
sorry, I
good.
just also want to add it got nominated for Best Picture as well.
Yeah, I thought the movie was good, but I didn't think it was exceptional. I didn't think it stood out. Do you think there was any sort of standout performances or scenes or acting from any of them?
Yes, the boy that played the main character, I can't remember his name. I thought he did an
Preacher Boy?
exceptional job. Preacher Boy, yes.
I hated
I
the
thought
sound of his voice. There's something about his voice that just didn't. It sounded like there was something in his mouth the whole time, like he was talking while chewing.
okay.
Yeah,
We could agree to disagree. That's why we have this platform. I thought he did an amazing job. I thought he was really really good. I thought Michael B was also very good. I thought this one of his better roles. I thought he did a really good job with because playing two different characters, especially twins, and being able to switch back and forth like that can be really hard because you have some actors that really can't pull it off and it's very like one dimensional. And I thought you could separate the two characters. I think the conversation is about like, well, it's just a vampire movie, like it wasn't really anything special, right? But I think the reason why it's getting a lot of love is because it's an original script. It's not based on a movie, it's not a remake, it's not a reboot, it's not anything like that. It was an original story and it brought a different twist to the vampire genre. And I thought Ryan Coogler did a really good job with just the way it was shot and the way it was, like, I don't know, it was one of it was one of the better movies that I saw in it came out 2025, right? Or is it
hmm
2024? 2025. I thought it was one of the better movies. And we could talk about, oh, like the message of it or whatever it might be, but I think it's a real accomplishment, especially coming from a black director and it's an all black cast for it to be an original story. I thought it was done beautifully, right? It represented all culture, it represented our music, and I think that's why a lot of people were excited to see it get its recognition because you don't get that, especially again for an all black cast. I think the first time that we ever saw an all black cast, black director, all of that was when Black Panther got recognized at the Oscars for the very first time. And that was the first time I think a superhero movie ever got recognized in that space. So I think that's why. But for you, I don't want to speak for you, but I guess I'm just trying to understand, like, what about it did you just think it was just mediocre? Like, was it just the story itself, or like I am really trying to understand.
Well, like I said, I don't think it was mediocre. I thought it was good, just nothing exceptional, nothing that stood out to me.
Okay.
There was no great plot or mythology revealed. Like, where were the vampires from? We didn't really do not even a little bit of a dive as to where they're from or what their motivation was.
Mhm.
The vampires simply attacked because they liked the music. Like, I
Mhm.
didn't feel there was any sort of depth to it, and they did try to make it mean more with Preacher Boy. Like, maybe he has some sort of ability, but again, they didn't even touch on that. Like, it would have been nice if, say, they said Preacher Boy comes from this royal lineage or special bloodline. Then it's like, okay, now I understand why the vampires want him. They're specifically attracted to him. But it seemed like it was just more like, well, he just plays good music.
Okay.
And that didn't really like, I'm like, well, they could have attacked anybody by that logic. To me, the movie was about a night of debauchery that went wrong. And it
Yeah.
was good, but it just nothing exceptional did stand out to me. No performance stood out to me. Like, Michael B. Jordan did play two characters, but we've seen that before. There was like Lindsay Lohan did it as a child in that movie. What's it called? Like, I don't
Yeah.
remember any Oscar
Parent Trap.
performances for that. Yeah, Parent Trap, and it's been done on TV shows. I haven't seen any like awards for that, so I don't see why it's 16 Oscar nominations. I'm like, that's a little tough to swallow that they got all of that. I'm
Mhm.
sure they'll get something like, I think they got one at the Golden Globes for music or something like that.
Mhm.
But like I said, nothing that stood out to me, nothing that was like exceptional. Good, not exceptional.
Okay, so you felt like there was a lot of what am I trying to say? Like
Loose
open-ended,
ends.
yeah, loose ends and plot
Yeah.
holes that weren't resolved.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm okay with that if the plan is to do like a trilogy. If there's a trilogy, you're kind of like saving those little nuggets for later, and that's fine.
Mhm.
That's why I say it's good, but not exceptional. But if you're ending it here, to me, I'm like, you didn't you didn't do a deep enough dive. Like, I forget
But
the vampire's name in the movie, but sort of where is he from? What's going on here?
okay.
Usually in movies like this, they'll do sort of a prologue at the beginning where they tell you like the origins of such evil.
Right.
And then in the movie, you find out why that evil is specifically here, what it's searching for. Even like
Mhm.
in old, corny movies of the 90s, they would explain where this evil is from and what they're looking for and why. Then you kind of understand this is why they're going after specifically this person. But in this movie, it just seems like they just stumbled upon this juke joint. They just happened.
Right.
No sort of reasoning behind it.
Right. Okay. So, playing devil's advocate here a little bit. You were telling me about the movie Weapons, where you
Yeah.
said, but I haven't seen the movie, but based on our conversation, you also said that it kind of jumped right into the story and it didn't really give a background on the main person. So,
hmm
what is the difference between that and this one?
Well, pretty much
Sinners.
like I said, they're the same. But Sinners is getting nominated for Oscars. I don't think Weapons should necessarily be the same. I
Okay.
don't think it's getting nominated for anything. That's why I say like they're both good. They're both scary, but nothing exceptional. But even Weapons was a bit. It was some fear in it, and I feel like they did things that I hadn't seen before, especially with how sort of the sorcery or witchcraft worked. She was just like gaining people's personal items and controlling them and then using them as weapons. Like, people are just like running into the streets and getting hit by cars. and that was just kind of just unnerving.
So why do you think that it is getting a lot of awards?
I think specifically, and a lot of times, what they tell you, the reason why they will give a person an Oscar award is not necessarily because of one movie, but because of the history of movies that they've done.
Mhm.
So I think the collaboration of Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler over the past 13 years is the reason why they might be getting an award.
Got it.
That the history of their work is the reason for the award. And in that sense, I think they do deserve something. I think that when Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler get together,
Mhm.
they're always putting out a sort of a winner. But to me, none of their films have stood out exceptionally well. I haven't seen that film yet. I
Okay.
haven't seen a film. They haven't given me a film that has made me think about the bigger picture.
Mhm. Okay. That's fair enough. Let's talk about Tiana Taylor. She got a Golden Globe nomination award. Actually, got a Golden Globes award for Best Supporting Actress for One Battle After the Another, and she also got nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress for One Battle After the Other. I know you haven't seen the movie, but wanted to kind of get your opinions on. I'm not sure if you also heard about the controversy on her winning it.
I'm sure. I mean, like she's a singer, not an actress, right?
She's both,
What
but
other
she's
films?
mostly known for her singing.
Right, because she doesn't have
Yeah.
a lot of acting history.
No, no, she
Yeah,
doesn't have a lot of acting under her belt. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because folks are saying that Hollywood is rewarding another black woman for over sexualization, because I think Halle Berry won the Oscar for, was it Monsters Ball, if I remember correctly, and there was a, nudity in that scene as well. And for One Battle After the Other, people were a little bit like, well, just kind of like the over sexualization again of a black woman, and with a white man, and Hollywood kind of like only giving us awards when we're being sexualized. And yes, there's been other actresses that are black that have won for other movies, but did she really need to get a Golden Globe for this? What do you think about, do you think like those criticisms are fair, or do you think, like, I saw the movie and there were some parts that I was a little bit risque and sexual, but that's just, I guess that's her, right? Like Tiana Taylor she's gorgeous. She just, exudes sexuality. So it's always gonna, I guess, in whatever role she plays. I just saw another movie she did. It's called The Rip on Netflix. And again, even though she played a cop and she was covered up and all of that, it just seems like there's certain, like, I don't want to say she's being like typecast for her sexuality, but just like, what are your thoughts on this whole thing of our black women just constantly being sexualized in this way? And then is that the only way that Hollywood will recognize it? I hope that made sense. I know that was a lot.
I think it makes you can only look at the pattern. You can only look at the results to see a pattern.
Yeah.
So when Halle Berry becomes the first black woman to win an Oscar award in 2003 for that movie Monsters Ball, and again you see how it's obviously over sexualized. And then I think again in like 2012, Lupita Nyong'o wins the
Yeah.
best supporting actress role, was it? And that was her first film too. And it was a slave movie where she is violently sexually assaulted. And you're
Mhm.
kind of just like, this is what they'll award you for. Well, like when it comes to their own, they're getting awards for like that person that created a cure for a disease. Like that's what they'll do it for. You know, they'll give the Oscar award for the person that plays Joan of Arc, like something groundbreaking, something that changed the world for the better. That's what they're doing it for. Us, it's like, oh well, here's this scene that's over sexualized, and we're gonna give you your biscuit for it. We're gonna give you your award for it, and it's just insulting. And I don't blame Hollywood. I blame us for still accepting these roles, for not saying, you know what, no, let me draw the line. And the thing is, it's not all of us. It's only a handful because you have people like Angela Bassett. She specifically said no to roles like this. Who was that elderly woman? She was in a lot of Tyler Perry films.
Cicely Tyson?
Cicely Tyson specifically said no to these kind of roles. Specifically said no to anything that would degrade or put black women in a bad light. So I think it's a shame that their example is not followed by others. That you're just simply saying, regardless of the money, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to stand on my convictions and just say no, even
Yeah.
if it means I'm going to have to wait a while to get my award. But when I get it, it'll be worth it. People
Yeah.
won't say I don't deserve it. When Angela Bassett gets her award, I think she already did, right?
They gave her an honorary one. So
Okay.
she didn't technically win for like a role. I think they just feel bad that they never actually gave her one, that they gave her one.
Right. But, like when they finally do get their award, like no one can say you don't deserve this. But Tiana Taylor, I'm like, you don't have enough under your belt to really say you deserve this as far as I've known her, as far as I've
Mhm.
seen. And she is a very pretty woman, but it's like you would hope people just have some conviction. And she was dating Aaron Pierre, I think.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the reason they split.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised because, like, especially here's the thing: if this was pre Me Too movement, I could understand. Because pre
Mhm.
Me Too movement, you had a lot of those films where you had a lot of sexual scenes.
Yeah.
Like looking back, every film had some sort of sex scene and some sort of nudity.
Yeah.
After the Me Too movement, there was a change. So I'm like, you weren't. This scene wasn't needed at
Yeah.
all. After the Me Too movement, you were not required at all to do these kind of scenes. The Me Too movement changed things. So I don't accept that she had to do it this way. I think at any point in time you could have said no, but sometimes they dangle that biscuit in front of you and it looks too good to say no.
Yeah. I thought the movie was good, but again, there were definitely, when it came to her scenes, a lot of them were sexual scenes. And I think for me, like, if you're going to put it in the movie, especially scenes that are kind of raunchy like that, there has to be like, it has to move the story forward in some way.
Yeah,
And at least in my opinion, I don't feel like those scenes move the story forward in any way. Like, if you, even if you take, like, if you take them out, the story is still the story.
yeah,
So it wasn't like a driving force. I guess like, I understand they were trying to paint the picture of the character and the type of person that the character was, but I thought it could have been done better. That's all. But again, what do I know?
and you know what's funny too, because Halle Berry, I think last year, made a comment that when she first won for Best Actress, she didn't think it would be so long until another black woman won.
Yeah.
Like she said, looking back, we haven't had another black woman win. And I said, well, what did you really expect? They're not really awarding you for your history. History shows they're not awarding you really for your talent, but how they can, to me, humiliate you and
Mhm.
say we're going to pay you to humiliate you, to embarrass you, because that kind of movie 20 years later is going to be looked at under a different microscope, under a different light. But like I said, when you're getting awarded for curing a disease,
Yeah.
100 years later it's still looked at as the same, with the same
Yeah.
beauty and appreciated. Just movies like this, I don't really like seeing at all, to be honest. Like I don't like seeing it. Once I hear about certain scenes, I'm like, I don't even want to watch it. I've heard enough because they've done that formula before. We know how it's going to go down. And somehow they'll try to sell it to us like it's an accomplishment. Wow, look how great you guys did. Like what did we do? What was the standout scene that you saw? You know.
I understand a role is a role, and you got to do what you got to do sometimes. I don't see Hollywood changing its stripes anytime soon. The black women are always going to be sexualized in whatever way or form that's just been how it's going. That's been what it is since the beginning of time, and that's how it's going to continue to be. And I commend those actors that are drawn the line of, I'm not gonna sacrifice my integrity, morals, whatever. Not that I'm saying that Tiana did. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is Denzel and the Violas and those black actors that we sort of look up to and have said there's a certain line that I'm not willing to cross for my art. Like I'm willing to embody any role, but I'm just not willing to embody this type of role because I know my community and I want to represent my community well. And like I said, Tiana is a beautiful woman. She's a sexual woman, and I wish, you know, for I think for people to kind of take her more seriously as an actress. I think she may want to like start moving herself away from movies like that, like those, so that people can at least try to take her more serious. But hey, it won her an award, so again, what do I know?
I
Anyway.
mean, like you mentioned Denzel, and he talked about early in his career, he was offered a role about basically like these white supremacists are like chasing him and they keep trying to kill him, but every time they try to kill him, he somehow survives, you know, a lynching or something along those lines. And he says specifically it was being the role was being offered by say like I think like a Jewish casting director or something along those lines. And then he said in reply, he said, "Well, what if we made a movie about a Jewish person who kept surviving the Nazis?" And the guy reacted. He said, "Well, if you wouldn't like that, then I'm not gonna like this. I'm not gonna like, you know, a movie along these lines where the black man is stumbling along and surviving racism." He said, "That's not for me." And in other words, he like stood on his convictions, integrity, like
Mhm.
that's not the kind of film I want to leave behind.
Right.
And I would hope that more of us start thinking on those terms. What kind of film do you want to leave behind in 20 years or when you're not with us on earth anymore, is this the work you want to leave behind? And that's what we really have to think about. And that's why I say like with Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, they're definitely leaving behind work that they could be proud of. It may never be given its due in their time, but it will be. It will be eventually. It will be given its due.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the reason why especially our communities responded to Sinners in that way is because it's a new idea. It's not a remake. It's not a slave movie. It doesn't depict us in a terrible way. And even like there's like the ancient practice of I think it was voodoo that they practice. And it's usually seen as like this, you know, evil
Evil.
thing and yeah, yeah. But in the movie it's like it's not an evil thing. It's a spiritual practice that the ancestors practiced, and that was their way. It's basically like herbal healing in a way, right?
Yeah.
So I think movies that shows our community in a good light, I think I think that's what people respond to. I don't want to see another slave movie. I don't want to see another movie with a woman being sexualized or whatever it might be. I don't want to I don't want to see and I don't want to support movies that make us look bad. There's so many of them out there and we don't want to see it. So I think we're now starting to understand that we want original movies, like the movie with Tessa Thompson, right? His and hers that was on Netflix. That was a beautiful movie. It's actually not a movie; it's a series. It was well written. It was produced by her and her production company. And I think Hollywood needs to give more voices to and more fresh ideas for new creators. There's so many talented people, there's so many talented creators out there. We don't need to keep seeing the same things over and over and over again. We don't need to keep seeing things that diminish us. We need to see things that are, you know, that are light, that are fun, that you know, that show was a like a murder mystery and it was beautifully written and beautifully shot and beautifully produced. Like it was wonderful. That's what we want. We want originality. And I know it's a business and I know that you know, they go with movies that make them money and the one thing that's always going to sell is sex. That's always going to sell. It's been the oldest thing in the book since the beginning of time. And of course, you know, the hardship of others. That's also going to, you know, sell, unfortunately. But there's so many wonderful people out there, so many wonderful creators. I think now that we have access to be able to produce things ourselves and have the platform to be able to distribute them, hopefully there's going to be more stories that are going to come that are interesting and not just the same BS that we are always seeing.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Anything else we want to discuss before we head out?
I did have something that slipped my mind. Gonna remember. I'm gonna remember it just after we leave too.
It's okay. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We have had a wonderful episode today. Love hanging out with you, love chatting with you. So make sure you support us on our several platforms. We are on YouTube. So if you're watching here on YouTube, please make sure you leave a comment, subscribe. And we are also on all the platforms where you listen to your audio podcasts, and make sure you support us there as well. Yeah. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Foreign Lady.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to rate, like, and subscribe wherever you listen to the podcast.
Follow us on social media at The Foreign Lady Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.
Email us at theforeignladypodcast@gmail.com. See you next time.